am OVW official Josh Ashcraft.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at Triple Threat Talk. I'm Dean Hill.
This is Ricky Chevy, and I'm the blue-collar millionaire.
I'm Mr. Peck. God, that's great every time. Spectacular.
We're the Bronis brothers.
I am the One Girl Revolution, Taeler Hendrix.
This is Brandon Espinoza. I'm the Assassin.
I'm Bruno Raul Limata.
I'm James Moose Thomas.
I'm Shiloh Jones. My name is Ron Head. I'm the announcer for OVW. I'm Jamin Olivencia.
I'm Alex Silva. I'm Rocco Bellagio.
I'm Kerry Bodie, the Ohio Valley Wrestling fan advocate.
Raphael Constantine.
I'm Rand Perez. My name's Muhammad Ali. Baez.
I'm Paradise.
This is Jack Black.
This is Ohio Valley Wrestling referee Chris Sharp.
This is Sexy Sean Casey. I'm Chris Silvio.
This is Michael Hayes. This is Jason Wayne.
You're watching Triple Threat Talk.
Welcome everyone to episode 55 of Triple Threat Talk. I know, right? Wow. Postmaster's run out of the sick days.
Yeah, I think so. I think he had to start docking his pay.
Postmaster out today. We do want to wish him well. He hurt his hand at work today. So definitely.
Tisk.
I know, right?
Tisk.
Of all the lame excuses you can think of, I hurt my hand at work.
He hurt his hand.
Yeah, he hurt his hand at work.
Anyway, so
take from that what you will.
Right. So
as always, we're going to start off.
Two of us again.
Views or questions. We get more views when it's just the two of us, anyways.
No.
In a show that I will say is all headlines. Like this is it. Like all headlines. Nothing really going on outside of major headlines in sports this time of year, so it's pretty much all headlines today, but we're going to start off with views or questions.
Absolutely.
Son of Sis. Who thought it was a good idea to put Cyndi Lauper on Raw?
Oh my God!
You're not the only one asking that question.
Oh my God! That was one of the worst things I've seen, and it's just like, thank God for Heath Slater.
I know, right? Yeah, tweet stealer. Yeah, that's right.
I didn't steal your tweet.
Yeah, right.
It's a Facebook post.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't steal your tweet. It's a Facebook post.
But no, I don't know if the thing is, it's tough to tell sometimes with that because like Cyndi Lauper hit him over the head with the
what they're singing.
With the memorabilia like record, and he started bleeding off that was playing.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I did wanna, cause like the glass did get in there.
It broke over his head. Yeah, so.
I mean,
and then the worst thing I heard was like Heath Slater was like, "You hated her 20 years ago. What's going on?" And then her annoying voice. She's like, "Well, he's coming out because he felt bad. He wants to apologize."
You do that too well.
I know.
I mean, people in Kentucky aren't really fond of Cyndi Lauper, anyways. After what she did at the Derby Festival with her, with her obscenity. Yeah,
this is PG.
Yeah,
right.
It's just very, very bad remarks about the Derby Festival.
Girls just want to have fun. I like that.
Apparently. Also from Son of Sis, does the WWE have too many titles to make them all worth at least something? Because I think the tag titles are starting to recover, but the U.S. title at the same time seems to be falling into complete worthlessness with the holder feuding with a ring announcer.
You couldn't be more right about that one. Yeah, I do like the fact that they're starting to get some new teams going. Obviously, Kofi Kingston and R-Truth are the tag champions, even though R-Truth is out with an injury. You do have Primo and Epico. You have the primetime players, Titus O'Neil and Darren Young. You have, Justin Gabriel's teaming with Tyson Kidd. They're getting some teams going, but the U.S. title, it has no prestige, as it did before. You have Santino, who, let's be honest, he's not the greatest wrestler in the world. Even though I've seen him before in OVW, he has had matches in OVW before where they show how good he is. Santino, believe me, he's very good, but he's not built as an excellent wrestler. So for him to do this is very odd, and also him feuding with Ricardo Rodriguez. And obviously, if you don't know, Ricardo Rodriguez does wrestle down in Florida. He is a wrestler in FCW, but again, he is built as a ring announcer. So again, there are so many other people in the WWE that deserve an opportunity to win the U.S. Championship, let alone face Santino for it, and this is not the right way to go.
Yeah, I totally agree. What was it? Mick Foley came out when he was the commissioner several years ago with William Regal, and they said basically if you don't have a title right now, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
So I think they're doing a good job. They just need to maybe push their titles onto better deserving people, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tyron1232, which CAWs are more difficult to create? Originals, like what the URWL has, or TV movie? And I don't agree with this. TV and movie characters like DWA and Ska. DWA, it's a mix. We've got a mixed bag. I think we've got more originals than any.
Well, I agree with him to an extent. Originals, we have Victor Fang,
The Doctor,
well,
Big B, Postmaster,
Victor
There's
Fang,
three.
Travis Sunfire, the new tag team of the Rough Riders. But
6, 7.
Down to your question, is it difficult to create originals or a TV movie? It's obviously more. It's definitely more difficult to recreate, TV/video game movie characters, because with originals, it's your own creation. You have the free ability to make the guy the way you want it to. I'll be honest with you, when I first started with DWA, I didn't create them guys myself. I went to the website caws.ws and I downloaded formulas, and that was that. But then when I moved to SVR08, I did them myself, and it did take a very long time to make the CWs look the way I wanted to. But then I said to myself, I've done this for so long, I can tweak it and make it look the way I want. Like, for example, Nightwing doesn't look like he typically does, or Apocalypse, or Al Capone, or whoever. I mean, some people do look like they're supposed to, like Nostalgia Critic and Gordon Ramsay and Silent and stuff like that. But it's kind of a cross between originals and TV/movie. You can make the TV guy/movie original. That's what makes it unique, instead of just okay, I'm going to create Magneto and make him look exactly how he's supposed to. You got to make it look well. You got to make it look your own thing. That way, it separates you from other stuff. So
I think it's funner for just from the TV movie characters, because just look at the mixed bag that's in the Doctor's Order. You've got two.
It's a mixed bag.
You've got two madmen, haha. You've got two madmen and then two singers.
Solar and you are madmen?
Well, three madmen, I guess. But yeah, and then you've got originals like Sunfire, and then Evil Inc. This concept of the virus, and Captain Pollution. He's an original, because Captain Pollution was never really in Captain Planet.
There was an episode of Captain Planet where he took on Captain Pollution.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
Really?
Yeah, they made that, and he had the worst accent, and he talked like a surfer dude. He's like, Captain Pollution! I'm not joking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of newer twist on old things, I was on Netflix the other day.
And good old Netflix.
Yeah, I checked out two cool shows, or one cool show, one show I thought would be cool that wasn't. The 2003 Spider-Man by MTV with Neil Patrick Harris voicing.
Yeah, that was
very good.
He also did one of the video games also.
Yeah, it was a very good series. And then the one that I kind of got bummed out about was the 1998 Voltron, The Third Dimension.
Ugh.
It was bad.
Can't beat the original.
Bad.
Yeah.
Against All Odds 20, show original Against All Odds 20. What do you think of the Amazing Red getting a WWE tryout? Could this be for the WWE Network and their Cruiserweight show? I'm going to let you answer this, because I actually don't know anything about this.
Well, I mean, Amazing Red's been around for a while now. He was in TNA until recently, and then he went for WWE tryout. And if you don't know, the WWE Network is something that's supposed to come this year. I don't know the exact time or date, but obviously they'll keep you posted as will we. But they're having a cruiserweight show. They're going to try to bring back a cruiserweight division, and this could possibly be he could possibly be trying out for that. I don't know for a fact, but I thought it would be really interesting, because this cruiserweight show could be very different. Because I remember on SmackDown years ago, that was pretty much the reason SmackDown was entertaining, because you had the cruiserweights, they were on Raw, you had to see these guys, they were high flyers, they were quick, they were different than anybody else you saw on Raw, so that'd be kind of interesting. So we'll see what this cruiserweight show is. Is it going to be wrestling, or is it going to be some stupid reality thing? I don't know.
FWA owner 22, and I think we can answer this one at the same time. We can give it the old triple threat talk in unison. Who do you think is the best mobile QB of all time? 3, 2, 1. Steve Young.
I mean, really? Yeah. I mean, right now I'd say Steve Young. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
It could change. It could be Tim Tebow. You don't know.
But Steve Young is just absolutely sick.
The guy sat on the bench for 5 years till he got his chance, and look at the guy.
Well, he wasn't really sick. He was learning.
Well, I'm just saying he didn't get his chance to. take the reins.
Richard Kenobi, Dick Kenobi, what are your guys' top 4 favorite moments in WWE? I think for me, the formation of DX. The contract on the paper does say McMahon, but it's Shane McMahon. Probably the bedpan incident. Was classic. And I think for me also, I had it in my head, and I forgot. Go ahead. I don't want to do that.
2 of my top 4 involve Shawn Michaels. Number 1,
I would just thank you. Booker T getting literally kicked out of the NWO.
You're the problem.
Yeah, and that super kick just came so ridiculously fast. It was insane.
2 of my top 4 Shawn Michaels. 1 is when he won the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 12 from Bret Hart. Number 2, well, these aren't in particular. I'm just going by numerical here. Number 2 is when Shawn Michaels came back in 2002 and won the first Elimination Chamber, won the World Championship. That was one of the greatest ones I've ever seen. Number 3 moment, I might have to agree with him, like the whole invasion angle, that was one of the best moments. Not just the Shane McMahon incident, but the whole entire invasion angle. It was very interesting. It was one of the best times to be a wrestling fan. And number 4, I gotta say another comedic thing, probably my favorite comedic thing of all time WWE's ever done. Stone Cold Steve Austin attacking Booker T in the grocery store. That was hilarious. Steve Austin improvising with all of the food items around the grocery store. That was hilarious. It's one of the best things I've ever seen. So.
Buck and 5, if you could pick any players from any time period, who would be on your dream football team?
Oh, boy.
That's crazy. That's a great question.
That's a great question. Any players from any time period? I mean, probably quarterback, I'd probably pick Joe Montana. Running back, I'd probably go with Emmitt Smith. Receivers, I'd have to go probably, Michael Irvin from the Cowboys. I mean, there's so many good players. Wow.
Jerry Rice.
I mean, Terrell Owens in his prime. T.O. in his prime.
Randy Moss in his prime.
I'd probably take Frank Wycheck as tight end. He was as good as a tight end that I remember in the AFC. Defense, I'd probably go with the Bears 85 defense if I could pick a specific defense. And a coach, I'd probably pick either guy from Miami. Don Shula, obviously coached the perfect team. And probably... Ditko's a good coach too. There's a lot of good coaches. I mean, it's tough to pick there's so many players. I could not answer this question in one sitting, but
yeah.
So
I mean, there could be debate. I mean, for me, and it's not even just because I'm a 49ers fan. It really is not. They've already started talking about the 2011 49ers defense being one of the top defenses of all time. I would take them over the 85 Bears just because they rate them the same.
Okay.
Maybe 1 or 2 switches I think I would have to have.
2000 Ravens too.
I think I would have to make some substitutions, put Ray Lewis in, and also put in Mike Singletary in. Also the refrigerator, I think I'd have to put him in there. As far as offensively, absolutely agree with you, Joe Montana. And I know you all just said Steve Young was he was one of the greatest mobile quarterbacks of all time. Joe Montana is probably the greatest quarterback.
Right now, until Peyton Manning retires, maybe he gets a few more accolades. I'd say right now Joe Montana's the greatest.
I don't even think Peyton will surpass him.
Well, he's with the Broncos. And I don't know.
I totally agree with you. Also, Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
I'd have to go Jerry Rice, T.O. Tight end, I would have to do a 2 tight end set. Okay. I would have to do Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
And Rob Gronkowski, actually.
Really?
I think I would have to
no
do that.
pass tight ends at all?
Yeah, and then here's a name for you. My kicker punter, Klaus Wilmsmeyer, would have to be my kicker punter.
Who is that?
He's used to be a U of L kicker and was on the 1995 Super Bowl team of the San Francisco 49ers. Lives here in town. Great guy. Has Klaus's corner on the radio.
Right.
But those would be some of my top picks for my football team.
And another 2 people I forgot to mention that I put on my team, I'd have one of maybe another coach as John Madden.
Maybe.
And, of course, without John Madden, how can I have a quarterback, Brett Favre?
Yeah.
First play, Brett Favre throws it. Second play, Brett Favre runs it.
What are your guilty pleasure movies? I like this question. We're going to answer this question.
Guilty pleasure movies.
Yeah, what do you like?
I like a lot of action movies.
Yeah. I think as far as guilty pleasure movies, I'm a big fan of the 1986 Transformers animated movie.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of that movie. Another TV show I watch, The Doctor is a Gleek. There's just something about originality there. I like how they turn old tunes, make them new, and vice versa. They do a wonderful job on the writing on that show. And probably the biggest draw for me of that show is Jane Lynch, who's absolutely hilarious.
Guilty pleasure movie for me. This has a lot of, not just because of the movie content, but has a lot of sentimental value for me as well. That tennis movie, Wimbledon, with Paul Bettany and Kirsten Dunst. Not only do I like it because it was a tennis movie, but back in 2006, my dad had to have bypass surgery, and while I was waiting to see what was going on, that movie was playing, so that kind of helped get my mind off things, which was a good thing for me. Another movie I like also, Cocktail. I never saw it before, but I actually was very sick last year, and I was really in bad shape, and that movie came on after I started feeling better, so that was another movie I really enjoy. But those two movies, if they come on now, just because of the moments they remember, I remember those moments that I watched them. So.
In Buckin' 5, you've got another question we're going to answer, but going into the movie scene, John RKO Cena 14, what is the worst movie of all time in your opinion? In my humble opinion, it's a two-way tie between District 9, yes, District 9, and Skyline. Those movies were terrible.
For me, before we get to break, I'll say Waterworld, over-budgeted movie, 2.5 hours, wasted my life away. And when we come back, more of your views and questions here on Triple Threat Talk.
Oh, babe, check this out. Hey, come on. You want a little chippy? You want a Dorito? Are you hungry? I want to get a Dorito.
Babe, don't hurt my dog.
Come on, get a tip. Come on, get a tip. Get a tip. Come on. Where we go?
And welcome back. We are back from break. Before we left the break, we were still with questions. So also from Buckin' 5, I just wanted to make the segue there between the movies. How would DWA and your writing style change if you started it today instead of when you did? And you better say one thing about Destruction. I would have always had the doctor writing.
It would be different because, I would have him on just because I like his writing style and the originality he brings to the show. It would be tougher only because when I first started, I had a lot of other shows to build off of, like, what is this show doing? What is this show not doing? How can I be better? It was kind of building off the other competition, so to speak, even though we were all friends and we wanted to, obviously part of the community. But it's tough to say now because I wouldn't really have that element, and it wouldn't be as, because when I started CW, I take it more seriously than I did now. I try to make it more like action-packed and a lot of interesting storylines. Back then, I had it more like jokey, certain things. Even though I still have hardcore masks and stuff like that, I did more jokey things back then because that's what everyone else was doing, and I was able to build off of that. So if I did it today instead of way back when, it'd probably be the same kind of writing style I would do now. Probably not a lot of humor as I used to do. It'd just be more like action-packed. So.
Yeah, I enjoy, like we said, we talk about it. I enjoy writing for Destruction. I know he likes writing on Voltage, and I think we're actually co-writing our first ever CPV because usually you've been doing them.
Yeah, we're gonna. It's all three of us are gonna.
Yeah, we're gonna write Interactive Insurrection in the next two. I will not spoil the name of the CPV after Interactive Insurrection. It is already named though.
Yeah, I'll tell you this just because everyone's been wondering, because every time I name the DWA shows I put Farewell Tour. Yes, it is ending at the end of this year. There's going to be Interactive Insurrection, the CPV he just mentioned, and then the final CPV is going to wrap everything up and finish DWA the way I want it to. And as people out there like, are you going to pull a thing where you don't come back and then you come back? No, this is it. We're going to finish it off. We're moving on to bigger and better things in my life, his life, and the show. So DWA is going to have a definitive ending like I want it to, and stay tuned, guys, because it's going to be action-packed.
And one thing we are doing, we are doing a documentary about the start and the finish of DWA, everything in between.
And what we're going to do also, we're going to film. This is going to be unprecedented. We're going to film when we write Interactive Instruction. There will be camera on us or writing ideas. So it's kind of like behind the scenes for you guys for that documentary. So
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of this is a new idea, but what we're going to do is, have cameras when we're writing. I may take the camera with me to my house when I'm writing for Destruction. He may have it on him when he's doing for Voltage, but we're going to throw together a documentary for you guys to let you guys see, and we're going to bring back some people, probably play some original clips. Try to track down Sloppy J. I don't know if we can, but we're gonna try. It's gonna be good.
But and also you'll probably see a film of me, like, because I think everyone wants to know how I do the show, the way I do it. So I'll probably throw that in there as well.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun time for DWA, and that'll be going up probably shortly after the end of DWA.
Yeah, sure.
The CAW interviewer. Where do you think the AJ, CM Punk, Kane, Daniel Bryan storyline will end up, and who will come out on top? I think they're going to end up on Jerry Springer.
Can I say, would it be PG if I said AJ will come out on top? I guess not.
I like it.
I guess not.
I like that, though.
I guess not.
I like that. No, I think it's going to be, I don't know what I think on this one.
I don't know. I mean, AJ's got so many screws loose. She's falling apart. I do like. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I do like the storyline. I really like it a lot. I like the fact that they're getting AJ involved. I think AJ's a great talent. I think she's being used very well here to involve.
So do I.
Involved with these three individuals: Punk, Bryan, and Kane. I like the fact that Bryan is kind of like CM Punk's biggest rival currently right now, and Bryan was AJ's former boyfriend, so she's still kind of involved with him, sort of. Punk is kind of the new thing she's clinging to, and Kane's just kind of a freaky, so she's kind of freaky in the head, so I do like the fact they're doing this. Who's going to come out on top in this one? No, jokes aside, I think Punk might come out on top because she's been backing him since the beginning. Kane would probably shock me the most because Kane's kind of a monster. It's Daniel Bryan. I don't think he has a chance anymore after what he did to her, but I think Punk finishes one with AJ, but we'll see where it goes.
This could all be a ruse, though. I'm kind of leaning towards actually Daniel Bryan and CM Punk.
I think it's going to be Heath Slater.
Heath Slater. Final question here from Midge TR Productions. Do you think Hulk Hogan will ever show his face again in WWE? I think not.
You have to say never. But after what happened with Hulk Hogan going to TNA and becoming, a big part of that, I mean, WWE always open door policy, but I just don't see Hulk Hogan ever going back to WWE, especially since his huge involvement with TNA. The only way Hulk Hogan would ever go back to WWE is if TNA closed their doors. And that's it.
So that does it for viewer questions. Who do you got as our viewer of the week this week?
I want to thank everyone for their questions, comments, quandaries, and queries. As usual, for user questions. This week, my viewer of the week would have to go to, you know what? Because it brought up good memories and good moments, I'm going to pick Buck N5.
Holy cow, that's like 4 out of the last 5
I did
weeks.
like the Guilty Pleasure movie question. It was something that I remember. And actually, I'm going to go try and find those movies. I don't own them, but I'm going to try and find them now. So, Buck N5.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You're on the streak, buddy.
You are this week's Triple Threat Talk Viewer of the Week.
Who was it that, when we first started doing Viewer of the Week, had like 3 or 4 in a row? It wasn't Buck N5. It was
Undid Warrior.
Was it Undid Warrior? Undid Warrior.
What happened to you?
Yeah, where you at, buddy? I see a question from him every now and then.
So,
congratulations, Buck N5, for your prestigious title.
Also, we are work. I saw your post last week. We are planning on getting that. If that's what you want, the family, we can do that. Obviously, do you mean family as in Josette, Jason Wayne, Ali Baez, Rob Terry, Jesse Goddard, Rudy Switchblade, and Chris Sharp, or it's up to you. Who do you want in that group right there?
Yeah, let us know who you want. We'll go from there.
So now moving on to headlines, and because PostMaster's not here, I shall play the clip.
Doctor, give me the news. I got the bad case of the headline blues.
Again, you're blind. Now it looks like you're drawing off like a blind guy. Yeah, anyway. So headlines. Biggest headline of the week has to be...
Well, we're gonna get into everything.
Okay.
Because I've got how I want this to go down. We're gonna start off with your biggest headline of the week, and that's Wimbledon.
So
go ahead and take us away.
Wimbledon started this past week, and obviously it's the biggest tennis tournament of them all. No big surprises yet, except for one huge surprise that someone's out. Women's side, Venus Williams is out. She has some kind of autoimmune disease she has going on, and she doesn't know when she's going to wake up feeling good or feeling not. So I was watching her play her first round match, and she looked really sluggish. They said when she was taking practice, she wasn't really moving. She was just returning and serving, not really moving as much as you think you would have to get prepped for a match. And then she had to field all these questions in the press room. Are you done? Is your career over? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, first of all, I have to applaud Venus Williams for one thing. She was out for this injury for so long, then comes back and wins a couple matches just to get her ranking up because she wants to play in the Olympics. Remember, the Olympics are in London this year, and the tennis will take place at the All England Club in Wimbledon. So I commend her on that, getting her ranking points up. But she's obviously out of Wimbledon. Serena's still in. She won her match. She's still in there. But obviously, it's a shame to see Venus go out so early. Obviously, that's her prolific champion as herself. But life goes on. No really big upsets in the men's side. Federer, Djokovic, Nadal handling things very carefully, very well. Roddick's doing very well. Yeah, right. The one person I wanted to have a deep run, I didn't know what the draw was when it came out. Leighton Hewitt's out. He lost to the 5th seed Tsonga. No one could have predicted that he would get that bad of a seed. He had to face Tsonga. That's the nature of the beast. So Hewitt's on the way of his career. He might be getting close to the end there also. A couple upsets today. Wozniacki goes down, former world number 1. She has some work to do. Sam Stosur, the 5th seed, who is the current U.S. Open champion, she's gone too. I had a feeling this was going to happen because the pre-tournament, it was in Eastbourne. A lot of rain, a lot of delays, and it's happening now. There's a lot of rain, a lot of delays at Wimbledon. The only time they can play is on center court. The roof can close. So this time next week, I'm going to cover more Wimbledon. You're going to probably know who's going to be closing in the finals because the finals are not this Sunday, but next Sunday. So I like to see, like I said, I like to see Federer win. If he wins, he would be number 1 in the world again. That'd be great. He would probably more than likely break Sampras's record of most consecutive weeks at number 1. He would tie Sampras's record of 7 Wimbledons. You know, he's cruising right now, but we'll see. You know, obviously in the second week, the seeds are in there and it gets more difficult. So I like to see Federer win. And women's side, I like to see Sharapova win. I think she's playing the best tennis on anybody.
too.
I like to see her win. She's playing the best tennis under anybody on women's side. So.
Abby Wambach is going to be on, by the way, I know you're a big Abby Wambach fan. She's going to be on The Body on ESPN. They've got her, one of the people that are going to be Rob Gronkowski and Abby Wambach are going to be naked.
I like Abby Wambach, but she's not my favorite player on that.
No. She's not your. I knew that you're a big fan of her.
Well, I more prefer Alex Morgan and Hope Solo.
Yeah. I think. I'm not sure Hope Solo is going to be on there or not, but I think it's going to be a good issue.
Yeah.
Trent Dilfer and Chris Berman.
I do like this one.
Second half of the Monday Night Football doubleheader announced team disproving the theory that you can't teach old dogs new tricks.
I mean, hearing Chris Berman call a football game would be like the most incredible thing just because his voice is tuned for football. His 2-minute drills are like the greatest thing on ESPN has for the football season. His quips, all his nicknames for people, it's going to be fantastic. Whoever plays in that game is lucky. He's going to call that.
A lot of people think that one of his best nicknames is for Frank Gore, the Inconvenient Truth. I think that is a pretty good nickname for him. Spain v. Portugal. 2 hours without a goal in this one. What happened is at the end of regulation, nil is what they call at the end of regulation. After 90 minutes, it was 0-0. They went to then two 15-minute periods that did not get settled by a golden goal, which means they played the full 30 minutes no matter what. 15 minutes on one side, then they switched. At the end of that, there's still no goals, so they went to penalty kicks. And Spain comes out on top 4-2 in penalty kicks. That is 80% of your penalty kicks. That is just flat out ridiculous.
Pretty good.
Speaking of staying with soccer, Team USA fail. Did not qualify for London.
Oops.
There will be no Team USA men's soccer in London this year. Oops. How horrible is that?
That's pretty bad.
Faux Twitter accounts popping up everywhere this past week. False ones, Chris Broussard and Stephen A. Smith among them. Chris Broussard was spelled with one S instead of two. The fake Chris Broussard tweeted out, Pau Gasol, Metal World Peace were up for trade.
Oh my
Which
god.
obviously, come on. Stephen A. Smith said KG was going to retire officially today at 1 o'clock via press conference on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. He said that. He tweeted that on Tuesday. Of course, these were both false.
Right.
But they are becoming more and more of a problem. They usually do say that they're fake, though. But see, the thing with these, though, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I do think it's worth noting.
Right.
The thing with these, they even fooled like ESPN and SportsCenter Live because the Stephen A. Smith one got 34,000 retweets. So that one kind of caught fire a little bit.
So,
obviously these are just fake, but they are doing pretty good. I mean, people like SportsCenter and other professionals, they were retweeting this stuff all day.
Yeah.
So, Clint Boyer won Sonoma. I've got to throw this in there for Postmaster. The next stop is here, the Quaker State 400
here in Kentucky.
Here Bluegrass Speedway.
You'll be going.
Yeah.
Postmaster's going.
Postmaster will be going to that, assuming he's not doped up on his narcotics.
Whoa. It's proud of me.
But we've got a couple more headlines, but we're going to cut to break. Triple Threat Talk returns after this.
Fresh and full of life. Nothing gets to you. Staying fresh, staying cool. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Fresh goes better. Mentos fresh. Fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life. Mentos, the fresh maker.
Welcome back to Triple Threat Talk. We are back. Before the break, we were finishing up headlines.
A lot of them this week.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them. That's pretty much the show. After this, we're going to go straight into wrestling. But Michael Vick telling rookies now to be accountable.
Well, I mean, he's right, but...
Pot, have you met Kettle? Kettle, have you met Pot? Really? NCAA, I don't know why this is news. Because,
finally!
Well, it's been happening. I mean, we've known this.
Right, but...
The NCAA approves FBS Playoff Division I for 2014.
14 playoff.
We've known this, a 14 playoff. This is one thing I don't understand. I don't understand why it broke so heavy the last 2 days, because we've known this for like 2 months.
Wow.
But the NCAA did come out and approve that.
Do something about it.
But I know a lot of people are scared. A lot of people from U of L are saying, "Oh, U of L is never going to be in it." Are you kidding me? Really? You're saying like you have to go undefeated? Newsflash! You pretty much got to go undefeated anyways to get into the damn thing.
Yeah.
The only reason Alabama, the only reason Alabama got in last year at 11-1 is because Texas Tech lost to or Oklahoma State lost to Texas Tech, and the LSU was Alabama's only loss.
Right.
That's the only reason that there was an undefeated team that was not in University of Houston. Yeah, you went undefeated, but you didn't play anybody.
Strength of schedule.
Yeah, strength of schedule, which the Big East is relatively weak. Assuming Boise State stays in, that's going to help out U of L a little bit.
Right.
But other than that, U of L is going to have to go back to scheduling heavy. Of course, they got UK there, which isn't much, but it is an SEC team.
Right.
So that does bear a little bit of weight. But yeah, 2 Heat notes here. The Heat, of course, win the championship and the series final 4-1.
If Postmaster were here, he'd say, "I told you so."
No, he would. He can't. I told him.
I know, but
it was his second pick.
I know, but
you and I went to the finals on our first pick.
I know, but give him credit.
I'm not going to give him credit.
Well, I'm just saying, when it came down to the Heat versus Thunder, he picked Heat.
You know what? Congratulations on your coin flip, Postmaster. Congratulations.
I don't know what happened. Other than the referee.
Well,
besides that.
Clearly, games 3 and 4 were bought and paid for.
Besides that.
Got a little bit better in game 5. A little bit better.
But, you know.
Not much. But yeah, it was horrible. I mean, clearly you can buy a championship.
It was LeBron's time, I guess.
So, I mean, it
was
LeBron's time?
It was LeBron's time to break out the checkbook and say, dollar amount, all right here, and then there you go.
You know what? And plus, people are saying, all you LeBron haters now have to eat it. I'm not eating anything. I don't hate LeBron.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't like his business.
LeBron's in the DWA. Come on.
Hey, guess what?
What?
I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Really?
See ya. Bye.
Really?
Bye.
So, I mean...
So you taking talents to South Beach?
See you later. I'm going to the Arizona.
Again?
But I mean, it's one of those
Kevin
things...
Cobb's
But it's one of those things that... LeBron, if he had not conducted his business like he did...
exactly.
And it's not even just that.
What that showed me, the whole decision as we're coining it, was like, I'm LeBron James. Look at me.
Yeah, look at me.
I'm going to take a precious hour of ESPN's time and string along all these stories and all this other stuff to finally say, I'm going to Miami Heat, which could take 5 seconds.
Wow. It was ridiculous. It was a waste of time.
I like LeBron as an athlete, but he is so focused on himself.
And the best thing I've heard so far from people that don't know what they're talking about is that he's better than Michael Jordan.
No.
One championship.
Yeah, I know.
And 3 MVPs.
I know Sports Nation put out a little side-by-side where LeBron won his first championship before Jordan, and some of his stats before his first championship were better than Jordan's, but first of all, I'll say this, but people say LeBron is better than Jordan. One, Jordan went on a team with people that weren't as good as LeBron has. Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, freaking Shane Battier is not too bad either. Jordan revolved around that team. He made Pippen and Rodman and Kerr and all those people better. LeBron, there's some people that debate LeBron's not the best player on his own team.
Well, was really, I mean, Dennis Rodman, is there really a way you can make him better? I mean, come on.
Well, he was a pretty good rebounder.
Yeah.
He was a good rebounder.
I think the best thing about Rodman was his hair changing every game.
He did look nice in that dress. No, wait, no, I didn't say that. But come on. You can't crown someone the greatest of all time after they win one championship.
Yeah.
Did people crown Federer the best tennis player after he won Wimbledon? No. He had to pass Sampras for the most championships of all time. If LeBron gets 7, maybe you can make an argument. But he's won 1.
Now,
calm down.
I will say he did earn himself. I would say it would be between him and Rondo for the series MVP. Of course, LeBron did win, but if LeBron wasn't going to win, it would have had to have been Rondo.
Right.
But LeBron did his part here.
Sound like Stephen A. Smith. LeBron James.
LeBron did his part in this series.
Yeah, he did.
He did his part. He did it very well. He still hasn't silenced me though, because the issue is not if LeBron is great.
No.
The issue is if he's the greatest of all time.
No.
Frankly, I don't think he's better than Kobe. I don't think he's better than Kobe.
Ring-wise, yeah, I can see that.
No, I don't see it. No.
Well,
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm saying
Kobe has 7.
No, I'm saying ring-wise. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Because Kobe has more rings.
Yeah, I mean Kobe has more rings.
Even without the rings, that's all.
But I mean, there's a meme online of LeBron James with a picture of 3 MVPs, and he's like, "Hey, Kobe, look!" And then he's like, Kobe's on the other side of it. He's got all 7 of his championships and his league MVPs. And he's like, "Oh, that's cute."
Yeah.
But yeah, Kobe for my money, best of all time. And other Heat news. Setting the sights now on championship division rival Boston's Ray Allen. What would you think about that?
That would take away probably the Heat's best 3-point shooter for sure. Probably. I haven't watched basketball as many as other people do, but I will say this: Ray Allen's stroke for 3-pointer is one of the prettiest things you can ever see from a basketball player. His stroke is just.
He's got a good
perfect. If you're a basketball player out there and you're trying to learn how to shoot a 3, watch Ray Allen. But that being said, I mean, they're just trying to stack the Heat more, trying to help LeBron, maybe. I don't know. I mean, that kind of hurts the Celtics. I mean, they do have good people on Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Rajon Rondo, but Ray Allen's a big part of that team.
I don't think Ray Allen is going to be in any danger of going. I think he wants to finish in Boston.
Right, but again,
we just don't.
You know how basketball is. As long as they show him the green.
A lot of mock drafts have Terrence Jones, and I know you wanted to kind of go over that a little bit. Terrence Jones as the number 20 or 21st pick to Boston. I agree with that. I think Boston would be a great pick for him, a great place for him. Obviously, Anthony Davis will go number 1. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist will more than likely go 2, possibly 3.
Right.
Austin Rivers will be up there as
He's
well.
probably top 5.
I think he's top 5. But we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about
Draft next week.
We'll talk about the draft next week. The top 10 in NFL released. This is
NFL. This is NFL.
This is NFL. Number 1, Aaron Rodgers.
Not surprised.
Not surprised.
Not surprised. Was league MVP last year?
Number 2, Drew Brees.
Okay.
Underrated is right now. When I say Drew Brees underrated, this is breaking news. These are fans saying underrated. I would agree with that. I think he's underrated. I think he should be number 1.
I'm gonna lean towards slightly overrated, only because that Saints offense is amazing.
Right, it's amazing, yeah.
I think you could put anybody in there, they'd be good.
Calvin Johnson, I think he's overrated. The fans say underrated.
I think he's way underrated.
You think he's way?
He is one of the best receivers in the NFL.
I'm not saying when I say he's overrated, I mean to say what you said earlier when we were putting these down. How can you underrate him?
Right.
And when there's only like 1 or 2 people ahead of him.
Right.
I mean, without a doubt, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees.
Right.
I think Calvin Johnson should be one behind this next man, and I'm not a fan of him,
right,
but there's no doubting his skill. Tom Brady is underrated. I agree with that. If anything, I would just switch 3 and 4.
I feel bad for Calvin Johnson because he's on the cover of Madden. So.
5, I think, is way, way overrated. Darrelle Revis.
Yeah, 5 is kind of high for Revis.
Yeah.
I agree he might be the best quarterback in the NFL, but 5 for a cornerback? How many MVPs has he won? How many Super Bowls has he won?
Yeah.
So 5 is kind of high.
Another one I think is overrated. Now, don't get me wrong. I have huge respect for the defensive capabilities of one DeMarcus Ware.
Right.
They have him as underrated, number 6. I think that's a little bit high for him.
What has he done lately?
I think he'd be exactly. I think he'd be at 15 to 20. Not hating on him.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
Again, what have the Cowboys done lately?
Yeah.
I have to say this. I mean, we're obviously getting to more football stuff when football gets closer and closer, but I'm going to say this right now. I think if Romo doesn't get the job done, if the Cowboys don't either
he's done.
Get to the playoffs or win Super Bowl,
he's done.
They're going to draft a quarterback and Romo's going to have to go somewhere else.
Larry Fitzgerald, I think his performance over the first 8 games does not outweigh his performance the last 8 games.
Right.
I think Larry Fitzgerald, one of the greater receivers in the league this year, I think he's underrated at 7. I think he's overrated at 7. I think he's overrated at 7.
I'll say this. I think he's underrated only because he is the sole reason of the Arizona Cardinals offense that makes them competitive.
Yeah.
Him and Beanie Wells, but Larry Fitzgerald's a big part of it.
Yeah, but let's see here. Number 8. I can't remember who number 8 was. I can't even read my writing. That's bad. If number 8 is such and such. Number 9 was Haloti Ngata. I agree with this. Number underrated.
Defensive.
I agree with him. 10, of course, I agree is underrated. Patrick Willis, underrated. Obviously, he should be number 1. No, I'm kidding. The doctor's personal favorite player in the NFL right now, Patrick Willis. I think maybe he could be a little bit higher because he's phenomenal.
I'd probably swap him with whoever 8 was.
I think whoever 8 was. I can't remember who number 8 was. You know what? We might check into that on the break. I think
on the break we'll check.
But anyway, that's the top 10.
I'll say this before. I know we're only doing the top 10, but I looked at the whole list, and a lot of people had at number 94. It was in the lower part of the higher part of the 90s, like 94, 95. Marshawn Lynch was down there. Obviously, the running back for the Seattle Seahawks. They had him as underrated. Of course, he should not be that low.
He should be that low.
He should be at least top 50. At least. I mean, the guy is beast mode. Come on, people.
And then another side note that I thought was interesting, we went through all the 49ers. There were 7 49ers, all of them underrated.
Yeah.
So definitely
Vic was overrated.
Vic was overrated.
Number 70. Of course. Gronkowski was really overrated.
Yeah, he
had like 18,000. I don't know.
Breaking records and everything his first year.
So that's all the headlines except for the big
headline.
And this is going to take a while to discuss.
So we're going to come back to it.
Come back after break, talk about. Well,
we're gonna first tell you who number 8 was, and then we're gonna go into the big story of Jerry Sandusky. Yeah. Stay tuned after this.
We're building it up to bring it back down. We're building it up to burn it down. We can't wait to burn it to the ground.
And we are back after the break. During the break, of course, we did look up who number 8 was Adrian Peterson, and some new updates too.
Some new updates, yeah.
We're definitely keeping track of this.
Adrian Peterson was actually overrated.
DeMarcus Ware, now people are agreeing with me, overrated.
And one that I'll say, because I don't like this guy.
And I don't either.
And first, when we checked it, Adam is underrated. But people finally, they went upstairs, found their brain, and said, you know what, we're changing it. Roethlisberger is overrated. Duh.
A humorous note here is Aaron Rodgers is underrated at number 1.
He should be number 0.5.
He should be number 0.5.
He's not even on the list.
I don't understand how you can be underrated at number 1.
Let's get to the big
story. Jerry Sandusky found guilty on 45 of 48 charges for him to spend the rest of his natural life in jail.
Right.
I think it was over 400 years.
Yeah, that's what it equals out to.
But
he won't be sentencing will take place in 90 days.
Yeah.
There's the one thing that I noticed about after that happened is he might not even make it to jail.
Yeah.
Because there's stories that there's talk about he might commit suicide.
Yeah, he's under suicide watch. PostMaster actually informed me before the show today that his first night in prison, they serenaded Jerry Sandusky with "Hey teacher, leave those kids alone." I thought that was kind of funny, but yeah, I mean, what can
I got that song.
Hey teacher, leave those kids alone. But yeah, the thing about it, obviously disgusting act, and obviously he's going to be put away and
for a very long time.
Pedophiles are not really looked upon fondly in prison.
Right, and the thing I'll say about this is like his lawyer needs to shut up because after he got convicted, his lawyer was out there making a press conference saying like, well, sometimes when people go to jail, they find out they're not guilty anyway. And then someone said, so you're saying he's not guilty? Obviously, he didn't answer that because he's not a complete idiot. And then like you said, well, you know, sometimes people get the electric chair and then they find out they weren't guilty in the first place. Dude.
Yes.
Come on. You're done with it.
I know, you're done.
You can move on to another client. Don't ruin yourself. Don't ruin your career.
Yeah.
I mean, if you somehow convince that jury that he was innocent, you probably become the greatest lawyer of all time.
Probably.
Okay, so.
Well, I don't know, OJ.
Johnny Cochran. Well, come on, who could have not. If the glove
doesn't fit,
you must have quit. Genius! The guy was genius!
But yeah, I mean, I just don't know what we've touched on it before. It's just one of those things that you just hope that, I mean, murderers are looked at better in prison than pedophiles. Yeah. I mean, pedophiles are usually pretty much killed. Courtroom or jailroom justice is what they call it. Jailhouse justice. Usually they're dealt with pretty severely.
Right.
Of course, you never wish that on anybody, but you gotta think Jerry Sandusky's gonna get what he's
I mean, I usually don't talk like this in the show. I'm gonna be really serious here. I'm gonna look right in the camera and just talk right here. Sandusky, I know he's not watching this, I know that. But Sandusky...
Way to be serious.
Yeah, you're going to jail forever. All the actions that you committed to those young boys and the things you did at Penn State, all the actions led up to this. Your life is over. It's going to be spent in a jail cell for the rest of your life. And that is not worth anything that you did at all. So now, not only is Joe Paterno's reputation obviously tainted because the man is obviously no longer living and something he can do about it, and this whole scandal is what he had to die from. Now your life is officially over. You can pack your bags and say goodbye to the kids and grandkids and whoever, because you're not getting out of jail. Either A, you're gonna die in jail, or B, you're gonna die before you die of natural causes in jail. So this goes out to everyone out there. Think before you do things, because if you do something and you get caught for it, you can't undo it.
You can get punished.
You can't undo it.
But this is just, of course, the beginning of Penn State's woes. Now they're going to have civil suits to deal with.
Yes.
There's talk about them not even being able to be a state college anymore.
That's a little steep.
I think it's right. I mean, the higher-ups knew about this.
And there was a thing that I think Paterno, I think he said before he passed, he's saying, I think it was during the whole Sandusky, press conferences and all stuff, like the thing with Bob Costa, all that other stuff. I think Paterno did say, looking back on it, I wish he should have said something.
Right. I mean, obviously you should have said something.
Right, but
it's one of those things now where Penn State is going to be very, very harsh. They're never going to be able to shake this. They're looking at hundreds of $1 million in civil suits, not being a state college anymore. This is something that's going to taint them.
You're gonna look at situations where if an athlete or someone was recruited to go to Penn State, they're gonna know what happened. They're saying, you know what, I really don't want to go there anymore.
Their head coach is saying a couple of wins and we'll be okay. No.
Couple wins?
A couple wins.
I don't care if you win the national championship, you're going undefeated.
Yeah, this is way beyond something a couple.
This is more than sports, people.
Yeah, this is more than sports. The win is not going to get you anything in this.
I know it's really kind of difficult to say this, but this incident with Sandusky, I'm going to go 99.9% of this one, so it's like maybe a slight chance. This completely just put the death penalty on Penn State.
Pretty much.
Period.
Yeah. This is
not just for athletics, but for that whole entire school.
And this is what I said when this whole story first broke. Did I not say that this would happen?
Yeah.
This happened.
Yeah.
I probably one of the first people to actually come out and say this.
When you're right.
I mean, this was going to be obvious. There was going to be serious ramifications. I said Penn State may close its doors. People are now thinking that might be a little bit steep, but it may eventually come to that because of this. Because once Penn State loses the state college title, I mean, it's curtains. Because the state government's not going to fund them after this. So,
I mean, the first thing was people thought of Penn State, thought of Joe Paterno. Now you're going to think of this.
Yeah, now you're going to think of this. I mean, one of those things.
It was a story that captivated the show last year, and we're starting with this year, and the door is closing. It's still slightly open because he's going to get sentenced in 90 days. There'll be more to talk about. Then right now, there's really nothing to talk about.
I mean, they're saying the next 10 years is how long it's going to take Penn State to recover. I got news for you. Penn State, you don't have 10
I don't think they're ever going to recover. This is an incident that just supersedes everything.
So that's headlines for today.
Interesting headlines.
And like I said, we're going straight into wrestling from this.
But first, of course, we have our weekly interview this week. Now, I know we have had repeat interviews in the past. Mm-hmm. We have interviewed Charlotte Jones and Johnny Spade on twice on occasion. And now we have another one.
Yeah, but it's not who we thought it would be.
No. We have Ricky Chevy, the blue-collar billionaire. The blue-collar billionaire. And, we interviewed him last time. People were confusing him for Bobby Hill. Nice match, Bobby Hill.
Yeah.
He didn't really take it again. He grabbed you by the shirt.
Yeah.
Didn't really...
Don't touch me.
He didn't really care for that anymore. So, this time, we had a sit-down interview with Ricky Chevy, and I think this one might have gone a little bit better.
Well, and before we cut to it, before you watch this interview, go back and watch our interview with the Assassin. Because this will tie something in that really happened. The doctor really knows how to get out of a tight spot, doesn't he? So, with that being said, if you want to get everything that's happening in this interview, go back, watch our interview with the Assassin, pay attention to what he's wearing.
Right.
And then go back, watch the interview with Ricky Chevy. We caught up with Ricky Chevy, who is at Homecoming, July 15th, gonna fight Trailer Park Trash. Here's what he had to say. Take a look.
Poor Ricky Chevy.
What's up, Triple Threat Talk fans? This is the Doctor from Davis Arena. You may have not noticed my guest. I'm going to get to him in a second, but what do you think this jacket looks? I found this.
You found that jacket?
Yeah, I found this jacket.
Nice.
It's pretty nice, right?
Armani?
Yeah, I think it is. It's very nice. But anyways, you guys might remember this. Not our first repeat interview, but we had Mr. Chevy a couple weeks ago. But there's been a couple of developments with Mr. Chevy over the last couple of weeks, so that's prompted us to kind of get to sit down and interview Mr. Chevy here. And I want to start with you. What's going on with this thing with Frank? What has led up to this thing with Mr. Trailer Park Trash?
Well, 6 months ago, when I first came to OVW, I got the phone call from Trailer Park Trash, Frank Miller, to come to OVW to start working these live events. No guarantee, just be here. So I started showing up and I started busting my butt every week, through and through. I never gave up. I showed up. I never quit. And then a few short months ago, I started realizing, you know what? I'm not going anywhere. I'm kind of stuck. I'm in a holding pattern. I'm in the gravitational pull field there of just being held back. So I decided July 15th, homecoming 8, I had to prove a point. That's the night when the stars come home, when the alumni, when the greats come home. What better way to prove a point than to take out the first ever OVW champion, the first ever OVW hardcore champion in a dog food match? You know, they think it's funny to say dog food match. You know, you act like that's just some ordinary comedy sideshow. No, it's far from that. It's going to be a fight because Frank Miller, I am a fighter. I am not an entertainer. I'm coming to end you. I'm going to end your career. That night, there will be no more fans. There will be no more heart and soul. Everything is gone. That's when I'm going to make my impact. You wanted to know what the Untriggered Attack was about? That's what it's about. It's nothing against you, Frank. Believe me, you got me through the door here, but don't it suck knowing the guy that you helped carry along is going to be the same guy to take you out, send you away for good. No more shows, no more glory. You'll be sitting there watching Matlock, eating your patachioca pudding, wanting to know why, what done this. Well, you know what? When you're sitting there in your double wide trailer, talking to the girls down at the gas station while over a Coke, eating your hot dogs and your donuts, you're going to sit there and say, wow, that Ricky Chevy was a true impact player. He wasn't Trash's boy. I'm not second fiddle anymore. And at Homecoming 8, I will prove why I'm not second fiddle by taking your ass out and ending your career. That is a promise. This is not going to be a wrestling match. This is going to be a fight. I'm not coming to give you an arm bar and a headlock. I'm not coming for none of that. I'm coming simply to put you 6 feet under and to make you eat some all-po dog food because it is on like Donkey Kong, July 15th, Homecoming 8, bell time 5 p.m. Trash, you're mine, and you're talking to Waste Management because I'm taking out the trash.
Very strong words there. I'm going to actually take your glasses from you for a second because they're falling off your head. These are expensive. These are Armani glasses. So we're going to put those right here because the doctor is a fan of everybody and a friend to everybody. So let me ask you this. Okay, this is a complete turnaround because a couple weeks ago, or actually it's been a couple months ago, Josette Bynum tried to call out Trailer Park Trash, and you came out dressed as Trailer Park Trash, and what everybody thought you were making fun of him, but you actually took a legitimate hit from the family. So it seemed like you were defending him. So I guess now, were we reading too much into that? Were you defending him, or is this just like a flip-flop of events that really is just like turned over on its head with this whole thing?
Don't get me wrong, there's things that come, there's once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, and when I got the phone call that night to maybe pull a ruse on the family, and you know it didn't work out in my favor or Frank's favor, but when you see that you got to make an impact in life, anytime you do anything, you got to make an impact in whatever you do. What better way, I thought, what better way to trigger this unmotivated attack by calling you out, Frank, at Homecoming? You haven't had a match at Homecoming in the last 2 Homecomings. The first Homecoming show I was on, you won the Battle Royal. I bet you don't know this, Frank. I bet you don't remember a 12-year-old kid coming up to you at Bullitt Central High School's gym after you won a Battle Royal and asking you for an autograph and you telling me next time, kid, at his first wrestling match. Maybe it's a little bit bitter, and maybe this is a little bit, you know what, words can't explain, Frank, of what I'm going to do to you and how much anger is really pent up. You know, I used you to get in the door here, and now you're going to be regretting ever bringing me in because I'm going to end your career July 15th, Homecoming 8.
Strong words here by one Mr. Ricky Chevy. Ricky, thank you for sitting down with us. Normally I'd ask a couple more questions, but I think you pretty much made your point. You did very well at spelling your point. I just kind of want to give you a going away present, actually. This suit, I've got about 10 more like it at home. I'm gonna give this to you, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I might wear this to the ring tonight.
All right, you have a good one now.
Give him that jacket. You thought you were being so nice. I'm gonna give you this gift. And what happens? They decides and takes his head off. How dare you? No, we're not going anywhere until you look into that camera and you apologize to Mr. Ricky Chevy. Yeah, apologize.
I will not apologize. I will simply refer Mr. Chevy to the DWA is what I will do. Come on. That is classic DWA doctor right there. That is DWA doctor in real life.
Oh my god.
That was great.
But
definitely some harsh words from Ricky Chevy. You know, on a serious note, harsh words directed toward former director of operations TPT. And I look forward to a dog food match. Interesting. And see if maybe this happens. I mean, he hasn't answered the question. I know before we introduced the interview, I'd said that almost like this is a done deal. It is not a done deal.
Right.
Ricky Chevy has issued the challenge. It has not been accepted or denied yet. Trailer Park Trash still, I guess, going over the pros and cons, which you need to do under anything.
Absolutely.
So
Chevy threw out the challenge, see if Trash catches up.
So we're going to check that out. We'll stay on that story in the coming weeks.
Absolutely.
But and also this is where we want to thank Terry Bodie, want to thank OVW. Check out Terry's fan page at thefanadvocate.com. Check out OV Wrestling, ovwrestling.com. And what's the channel they're on? WB?
Channel 138 WKY on Saturdays at 1 o'clock and 9 o'clock, depending on what time you watch it.
So wrestling. OVW Wrestling last week. Show began with board member Ken Wayne coming out to the ring. And as you pointed this out, I think they kind of jacked something from me.
I don't know.
And I'm not too thrilled about it.
No.
Danny Davis called Josette a female dog. Got fined $100 for it, really. I want $5. $5. I'm gonna have to fine him $5.
Oh my god.
Wayne stripped Rudy and Jesse of the tag titles due to the way they won the titles.
That's not fair. They were the champions and now he stripped them of it. This is ridiculous.
Shove it.
It's ridiculous.
I'm a big family supporter, but if they want to restart, I kind of agree.
This is ridiculous. This is a travesty.
Michael Hayes and Moose took on BS 2.0, but before the match could begin, both teams attacked each other on the outside. The match was thrown out. Both teams were disqualified in the tournament of OVW versus OVW at the Saturday night special.
What are you guys doing? Now you blew your only chance. Michael, what do you think?
Come on, Mike. Chase King and LMC, known as the Street Kings, took on Raul LaMotta and Shiloh Jones in another tournament match. LaMotta and Shiloh were victorious. Dylan Bostic took on Randy Roy on a TV title tournament match with the distraction. Dylan picks up the win.
The distraction by Taeler Hendrix, which we'll get to after OV Wrestling.
Rudy and Jesse took on Chris Sylvia and Cliff Compton in another tag team tournament match. Compton and Sylvia were having issues being on the same page during the match, and that allowed Rudy and Jesse to pick up the win.
Yes! Best team ever! Okay.
In the main event, Jason Wayne and Mr. Ollie Valles, seven, took on Paradise and Espinoza in a tag tournament match. Vote for your favorite name for the Paradise, by the way, real quick segue, is having a contest voting for your favorite name. The doctor submitted a name.
What'd you submit?
Paranoza.
It's so horrible.
People loved it.
That's so horrible.
People loved it. They wanted Paradise told me today that he kind of he said he liked them all, but you know I come on, a couple of the friends of the show really liked the name I submitted, so a lot of people. I think Paranoza. I'm gonna call like I see it though, so I'm gonna restart. In the main event, Jason Wayne and Mr. Seven Time took on Paranoza in a tag tournament match. Paranoza won the match, but after the match, the rest of the family came out to attack Paranoza. Shiloh and LaMotta came out to help Paranoza. I'm saying Paranoza as much as possible. Josette picked Rudy and Jesse for the tag match. Danny Davis picked up Paranoza. Ken Wayne announced it would be a ladder match at the Saturday Night Special. Basically, when we're saying they're picking them, each person gets to pick one team for the Best of 7 series at the Saturday Night Special. So, in this department, the best team ever will be on the side of Josette Bynum for control of OVW.
Or Joe VW.
Or Joe VW. And Danny Davis will have Paranosa as his representatives.
So that does it for OVW this week. Very action-packed week. When we come back, though, I know we usually don't spend too much time on this, but this week is a big week. When we come back, we're going to delve into and review Gut Check from last week with Miss Taeler Hendrix. Stay tuned.
Hey, Nick Dinsmore here. Do you have the dream of becoming a pro wrestler? Well, I did, and I came to Ohio Valley Wrestling. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. I'm a former WWE superstar. I'm a former 9-time Ohio Valley Wrestling heavyweight champion, and I can train you to be the best today. For all the information regarding the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class, go to ovwrestling.com and click on school. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. ovwrestling.com, click on school.
And welcome back to Triple Threat Talk. Big B alongside the Doctor, and of course, Pokemon Jones is absent this week. Like I said before the break, we usually don't cover TNA in depth, but we're going to do it this week. This is Gut Check time. Gut Check. Last week, one Miss. I think I know this person.
I think I know her too. Wasn't she at your house a couple weeks ago?
No, I don't think so. No. Well, anyway, one Miss Taeler Hendrix took on Victoria from WWE, now known as Tara and TNA, in the Gut Check match. And while we're talking, the clip's going to be running for match, just reviewing it real quick. I thought Taeler did a good job.
But she did too.
Taeler did a good job. She really did well. And I liked how the crowd was cheering her name, cheering Taeler. And I think she put on a good match against Tara. I like how she sold the ending finisher.
Yeah.
I thought Taeler did an incredible job. I'm not just saying that because she's a fan of the show and she's a friend of ours. I do think she did a nice job, and I thought she played to the crowd very well. I thought she took on a very, very tough opponent in Tara, and a pretty good match, I would say.
And right now it looks like 90% of the people want her there, but of course the final word coming later on tonight on TNA
From Al Snow, Taz, and Bruce Pritchard. So we'll see what happens. I mean, if the majority of the vote fans matter, then she would get a contract because she has nearly 90% of the vote. So,
but I think the judges are the final word on Gut Check.
Yeah.
So
come on, guys.
But we'll see. We definitely hope good things for her. So this week in the WWE, we've got a friend of ours.
You did?
Named Doyle. For 7 years, Doyle's been saying... Seven. Doyle's been saying Psycho Sid is coming back at every pay-per-view. Everybody thought he was crazy.
Rumble. So here comes Sid.
Here comes Sid. Well, Monday.
Your wish has been granted.
There was a murder on Monday Night Raw this week. And the victim was one he slaughtered.
First he gets squashed by Vader, then he gets powerbombed to hell by Psycho.
I don't even think that Vader beat him as badly as Psycho Sid did. I mean, Sid just went nuts on him.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculous. And a lot of people saying Sid looked bad and out of shape. No, he's old. What do you want from a guy who's 6'9" or 6'10"? I mean,
guys, newsflash: people get old. It does happen.
I mean, he's definitely not as out of shape as some of the people we've seen.
Yeah.
He's just got a little bit of age on him. I think he works out a little bit more. He could easily come back
if he wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, if he wanted to.
I think you have to be careful because of his leg.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know that horrific injury, which I do not want to watch again. But that was interesting to see Psycho Sid return. The opening match, Daniel Bryan did win the opening elimination match, which sets up Daniel Bryan getting a WWE Championship match at Money in the Bank against CM Punk.
Cena had a major announcement. He was entering himself for the first time ever in Money in the Bank to stop the show, and also Jericho entered himself in. What do you think about this?
I don't like this, only because the outcome, Vicky Guerrero came out and said it was going to be Kane, Big Show, Jericho, and Cena in the Money in the Bank. First of all, I don't like the fact it's only 4 people.
I wonder if that's all it's going to be is
right now it's 4.
They got to add 2 more.
They do, but it doesn't look like they are. I don't like this at all, only because 4 people doesn't seem like a lot. It seems like a fatal 4-way match with a ladder involved, honestly. I can throw people out, Cena and the Big Show. They're only in it for themselves because Cena wants to take a Big Show and vice versa. I could see possibly Jericho winning this one. I think Jericho is finally going to get the belt somewhere down the line. We'll see. But I would think Jericho... I mean, we're going to do our picks, obviously, when Money in the Bank is getting closer and closer. But I don't like this at all because Money in the Bank is the time for people that aren't really getting a shot to get a shot. Kane, Big Show, Cena, and Jericho, they've had their chance. They've been champion multiple times. Money Bank's supposed to be a golden opportunity. I don't know why former WWE champions are getting an opportunity that they don't really deserve.
But I mean, I tend to agree with you. I think that there needs to be more people. Or I think that Del Rio should probably be in this or whatever. I mean,
Del Rio had his chance before.
Yeah, but I mean, I definitely agree. There should be more people. It should be a mixed variety. This doesn't make sense.
No.
It's one of those things that there's probably going to be a good match, but you want the WWE to handle it a little bit better.
I honestly don't see Cena or Big Show winning, so we'll go over one.
Ziggler became the number one contender,
Nope.
Number one contenders match.
Oh, no. Wrong,
yeah.
sir.
They both did. Sheamus came out and stopped the match, called them little girls.
Which made no sense to me because Del Rio and Ziggler had a contract on a pole match, which I didn't get why they did that. And then they wrestled for a good 10-15 minutes, and then the match is thrown out and Sheamus says number one contender. So what was the point of the match in the first place?
Filler. John Cena took on Chris Jericho in the match, and then DQ. Big Show came out to close that Raw.
So obviously they're still continuing with the Big Show Cena thing. I still don't like the Big Show in the spotlight like this because Larry Nice is gone. I figure that's the only reason he was going to be involved in the main storyline stuff. So Big Show's still there. Hopefully Cena finally finishes him off in Money in the Bank somewhere down the road because Big Show does not need to be in the main event picture.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, what do you think about the match? Daniel Bryan and CM Punk round 47.
It's going to be classic because those two are obviously fantastic wrestlers, two of the best in the WWE, not just WWE but the world. I still think, again, we'll go over our picks like I said before, but I think this is going to be a very good match. I do see AJ getting involved somehow. Because that's what's going on.
Yep.
So, but we'll go over more than that. Next week on Raw, Brock Lesnar will answer Triple H's SummerSlam challenge. Obviously, he's probably going to say yes, or he's going to say no, and Triple H is going to talk his way into it because, that's what Triple H does. So, that should be good stuff.
But yeah, despite the ladder and match thing, I kind of like where they're going with everything lately, with the exception of Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
A lot of fun stuff. I like how they're bringing back everybody. It makes a lot of sense. Raw's ratings are up.
Two things I want to mention. One, the 1000th episode, they will announce the new general manager for both Raw and SmackDown, so that will happen. And also,
Stephanie McMahon.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Another thing I was going to mention, this is actually really cool. SmackDown last Friday, ratings actually pulled to 2, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for them, they usually get like
they usually get less than
1.1, 1.3 around that area. So a good job for them to get a 2-point rating this past week. So maybe things are picking up.
Did you see who was on SmackDown this week?
Who?
Dylan Bostic.
He was?
Against Ryback.
He was not.
Yes, he was.
Who far right? Who far right?
It was
really far right?
It was Dylan Bostic and some Keith Byrne.
Is it really Dylan Bostic?
Yeah, I swear. Dylan Bostic was on SmackDown.
I'll have to look that up because I didn't.
Dylan Bostic was on SmackDown fighting Ryback. He's the blonde guy, the shorter blonde guy. Who's now, like we talked about him earlier, he's now frequently seen in the company of one Miss Taeler Hendrix on OVW Wrestling. But yeah, Dylan Bostic, definitely on SmackDown fighting Ryback.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. Let's see it.
But, so yeah, that's wrestling for this week. That's the show for this week, pretty much. You got a wild card.
You have a wild card?
I do, but I kind of want to save it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have kind of 2 wild cards.
Okay, go ahead.
First wild card is...
We got plenty of time.
Right. We're going to do an update on last week's wild card. Last week's wild card, if you remember, I mentioned a story about Jim Carrey, who, according to a spokesperson and Warner Brothers and New Line, they weren't really taking the Dumb and Dumber sequel as seriously as they wanted to, so he said, I'm not doing it, I'm backing out. Well, there's an update now because of Jim Carrey. Without him, they are not making this movie without him, so that's great to hear. Hopefully, somewhere down the road, they get more involved and they saw, well, we need to be more enthusiastic about this movie and maybe Jim will want to do it. That way they can make a proper sequel. So thank goodness that they won't do the movie without Carey because it would not work with just Harry and not Lloyd. So that's that about that story. And also, I have a little tidbit here. Tennis for Big B. You're like, what does that mean?
What doesn't that mean?
What? Oh, God.
False Twitter report just came out, by the way. Congratulations on your wedding with Cody Rhodes.
You couldn't go a whole show with that.
Okay.
All right, so tennis for Big B. I recently joined the USTA, the United States Tennis Association. It might cost you $44. It's not that big of a deal. But there's a tournament this Saturday locally here at the tennis courts on Old Henry Road if you're in the Louisville area, if you remember where they are. It's called the Firecracker Open. I don't know who will be playing until tomorrow. Actually, tonight I'll be knowing who I'm playing via email. I'll find out. Hopefully I do well. They might be there. We'll find out. We'll see. Maybe someone takes some video of it, put it on the show next week. Who knows? But you know,
this is Big B getting hit in the head by a tennis ball.
Oh, God. But well, hopefully I do well. We'll see what happens. I'll let you guys know.
Also, a false Twitter report just coming out. How can you think that Smoke was the pet name that PostMaster came up with for Tony Stewart? I mean, come on.
I was joking!
Right. Don't put it out on the Triple Threat Talk main page. Put it out on yours. We have
our good friend Michael Rickard thought it was funny, so I did my job. And I did
Right. Okay.
Do your wild card.
So, we've been mentioning this a little bit. And the reason, I mean, I want to know what you think about this. That's the reason I wanted it to be last, because I really do want to talk about it a little bit. There's the new thing now with the Avengers, okay? We obviously know, at this point I'm not spoiling anything, Thanos is going to be the big guy in the next one. What we've got here going on is Sony now is saying that Wolverine and Spider-Man can be in the second
Avengers. Should be.
Yeah, they should be. Even though Sony owns the rights to those two characters and Disney does not.
Right.
So Sony's going to lend Disney the characters.
Okay.
So, the new director of The Amazing Spider-Man, I'm going to tie this all together here in a second. The new director of Spider-Man said this one coming out in a couple days, in a couple weeks, was going to be the fourth one. Okay? Was going to be the fourth one. But he does not believe that Sam Raimi did a very good job on Venom. And I think the general population agrees with that statement.
Topher Grace.
Yeah. So, it was the way he did it, but
I think he should have been more involved.
Yeah, he should have been more involved. It was too much of a love story, too much lovey-dovey. Although some of the main characteristics, like the church bell, and all that stuff, how Spider-Man got rid of Venom in the first place, that was all true to life.
Yes.
And Venom's classness, yes, not classlessness, but classiness in regards to 50s music, 60s music, stuff like that. That was all involved.
Yes.
Those were all very good points. However, now that we've got this, and this is good. This is a good thing. Good, however, now with Thanos, the Infinity Wars in the 70s took place. How did Spider-Man get Venom? It was because Spider-Man got wounded, and Venom came to him to heal him and turned Spider-Man into General Badass #1. As the Black Spider-Man at first. So now,
history lesson.
Now, what people are thinking is going on, because he's already said Venom is the next movie. He has said that Venom is the next movie, with Carnage likely being the third movie.
Good.
Finally, you're right, exactly.
Yeah, right.
So, what a lot of people are thinking about, and this is exciting. I want you guys to talk about this. This is why I'm talking about this, because even though this is a sports show, obviously, since I know all this and he knows this, we're kind of nerds if you hadn't figured it out a little bit, but we're nerds who know a lot about sports and comics all together, which is kind of rare. But what do you think about this? The possibility, and I'm excited about this, the possibility that the second Avengers would take place during the Infinity Wars with the powerful Thanos and the origin of Venom. This basically the second Spider-Man movie starting during the second Avengers with his receiving of Venom, of the Venom symbiote. What would you think about that? I, for one, think that would be awesome.
Very good.
Kind of have Spider-Man 1.5 wrapped into the Avengers 2, and then go to the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I think that would be awesome. Big B, we did it again without PostMaster. I don't know how, but we managed to survive.
We managed to survive. And if you managed to survive, please go to Facebook.com, like our page, Facebook.com/triplethreattalk. You can follow us on Twitter at triplethreattalk. And it says any comment or question you have at triplethreattalk@yahoo.com. So with Triple Threat Talk, this is Big B.
And this is the doctor for myself and Postmaster Jones. Guys, take it easy. We'll see you next time.
This is Big B signing off, and hopefully next week we'll say new TNA superstar Taeler Hendrix. See you, everybody.